Your spiritual you isn't confined to the material body, is it? When you say I, how are you going to localize that? Now, where am I? Am I here behind the eyes? Am I in the chest? No, no. You can point a finger at this hand or that shoulder, but the pointer is not the presence it seeks. You can open the skull or the heart, but no surgeon has ever yet found any me inside of a body. You cannot leave what you were never in, and you cannot be trapped in what never contained you. I am not in the physical, absent from the body, present with the Lord. If this is so, and you will find it so, not by agreeing with me, but by discovering it, then stillness does not begin with pinning the eye to a chair or chaining the mind to a thought. Stillness begins by refusing to localize the I. Be still and know that I am God. Not be tense and make. Be still and know. The moment we try to make stillness, we have already set up a second power, a would-be maker and a resistant silence. Two powers. Always trouble. There is only one. I and my Father are one. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Therefore, do not try to make it happen, wait, and then the click comes. I would like us to make an agreement of intention, not to prove anything, not to use anything, not to get anything. We will sit together, not to fabricate an experience, but to attend a living one. A waiting room, not a workshop. We will wait, not make. We will listen, not project. We will consent, not command. In that consent, the false geography collapses. The I is not here or there, not above or below, but is the temple of the living God, which is to say, consciousness aware of its source. In him we live and move and have our being. What then is this click I speak of? It is not a sound in the ear. It is not a thrill in the spine. It is the quiet pivot in awareness when the weight of self transfers from personal effort to presence itself. It is grace announcing itself within the sanctuary of your own consciousness. You do not cause it. You cannot. You stand aside and it appears. And when it does, you will know that God is the actor and the doer and the beer, and you are merely the instrument. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Let us then come to this hour with one prayer, to be absent from the belief of a localized self and present with the Lord. No grasping, no bargaining, only the humble waiting that says, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. When the click comes, and it will, not by our schedule, but by the rhythm of grace, we shall discover that the very stillness we sought was never ours to make. It was and is the activity of God fulfilling itself as peace in us. Now let me tell you the one mistake that delays many sincere hearts: trying. Trying is the subtlest form of resistance, the pious hustle of the religious ego. It wants peace on demand, results on schedule, and it seeks to use God as a means to an end. In that instant, you have created two powers, a you that wills and a God to be employed. Two powers. Always trouble. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Stillness cannot enter a divided room. You cannot use principle. Principle uses you. No engineer uses 2 times 2 to make 5. He consents to the law and the law carries him. It is the same with the spirit. The moment you stop trying to use power and silently consent to it, you feel a soft reversing of the current. The strain leaves. The will releases its grip, and you discover that God is the actor, the doer, the beer. I am merely the instrument. I and my Father are one, not by my effort, but by grace revealed to itself within consciousness. Do not seek effects. Seek God. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Notice the order. First the kingdom, then the things that are added. When you seek the things first, health, security, vindication. You have already set up a second power, and the door remains shut. But when you knock for God alone, you are knocking at your own heart's interior door where Christ abides. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Knock for God, not for things, for presence, not for proofs. And the things that are necessary for the unfolding of your path will appear of themselves, not by you, but through you. Our age sells methods and breaths and visualizations promising to move the hand of the infinite. I hope you will never try to do it. Don't ever tamper with a cosmic law because it is a double-edged sword. If you attempt to bend it for private ends, the very act of separation exacts its own penalty, discord, fatigue, disappointment. But if you surrender will and ambition and quietly say, not my will, but thine be done, the river finds its bed and the current bears you. Here is our doorway, not a device, not a spell. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Whisper it without bargaining. Let it empty you of demand until only receptivity remains. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. In that yielding, the harassment of wanting subsides, the nervous hand unclenches, and awareness becomes transparent. This is the secret that works. Poised expectancy without a plan, consent without agenda, love without transaction. Then, without strain, the law fulfills itself as peace. Then, in its hour, the click comes. Since spirit requires no drama, only the removal of interference, let us prepare the chair and the temple. The temple is not the body, and yet while we live this side of words, we make a gentle accommodation not to worship the body, but to forget it. Enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. The closet is your own consciousness. Shutting the door is removing intrusion. We will make it simple. Choose a chair low enough that your feet find the floor without strain. Let the soles rest flat, not on tiptoe, not dangling. Feel the quiet fact of contact and then forget it. Let the back be supported, but not held as by a soldier at review. No rigidity. Comfort enough to disappear. There is no occult reason for this, only one of physical comfort, so that within a few minutes you will be virtually unaware of having a body. If a cushion is needed, use it. If a shawl, take it, not to induce anything, only to subtract disturbance. Place the hands loosely in the lap. Never prop the elbows, never hold the arms in any sustained pose. That is labor. Labor belongs to the marketplace, not the sanctuary. Let the shoulders drop of themselves. Unclench the jaw. Let the tongue rest softly against the roof without pressure. Close the eyes gently, as though darkness is a friend. Not a squeeze, not a trance, only a veil drawn over the senses so that the inner room may become apparent. Breathe as you breathe when you have forgotten to notice breathing. No patterning, no counting, no ratio. There is no magic in oxygen and carbon dioxide to open heaven. None. The breath will find its rhythm if you will not school it. If it is shallow, it will deepen by itself when attention is free. If it is deep, it will lighten by itself when attention is free. We are not training the breath, we are ceasing to meddle. Remove the obvious intrusions. Silence the notifications. Quiet the bell. Turn the telephone face down. Set a simple timer, not to measure progress, but to release the mind from clock watching. Then the room is shut, the door is closed, and the burdensome little steward who keeps time can sit outside. If a draft tickles or a seam scratches, adjust once and then let it be. We are not coddling the body, we are rendering it unobtrusive. Now, before the waiting, give the heart its password, not a technique, not a lever, but a yielding word. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Whisper it once, perhaps twice, and then let it go. Do not clutch it. Do not repeat it as an engine. Let it dissolve like a wafer on the tongue of thought, and be still, and know that I am God. In this simplicity, the physical recedes from thought and awareness widens, absent from the body, present with the Lord. No mystery in the chair, no virtue in the posture. The virtue is in the consent that follows when nothing is poking at you from within or without. Physical ease serves spiritual receptivity. When the temple is quiet, the inner altar becomes visible, and in that sanctuary we do no work, we wait, and the grace that needs no help will announce itself. Now we turn not outward to the chair, but inward to the I that sits nowhere, absent from the body, present with the Lord. When I say I, how are you going to localize that? Here, behind the eyes? No. In the chest? Inside the ribs? No. Is it a point in space you can tag and measure? No. No. The eye that knows this breath is not in the breath. The eye that hears this silence is not in the ear. I am not in the physical. In him we live and move and have our being. Remove from thought the notion that you are a someone inside a somewhere. Let there be only awareness, aware of itself, not perched, not pinned, not contained. This turning is desireless, or it is not turning at all. We are not here for healing, nor for supply, nor for signs, nor to demonstrate a point. We are here for God alone. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. If even a small corner of the heart bargains for an outcome, you have set up a second power, and the door closes upon itself. Release it. Let the prayer be without object, the waiting without a plan. Whisper once, if you must, Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, and let even that sink into silence, for grace requires no prompt. Seek not a thing, seek God. I and my Father are one. As you rest thus, do not cling to the borders of the body. Let the edges fade the way a shoreline fades at dusk. The sense of hands, of feet, of weight may recede from attention, not by force, but by disinterest. We are not pushing the body out. We are ceasing to invite it in. Be still and know. The center falls away, yet nothing is lost. A centerless presence remains, simple, clear, self-bright without an object. The kingdom of God is within you. In this withinness that is not a place, notice there is no watcher apart from what is watched, no two, only the one knowing itself as quiet. Now let the moral compass take its rightful place, for safety in spirit is obedience to law. There can be no selfish purpose in a cosmic law. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. If you would be present with the Lord, you must also refuse the subtle wish to use God upon another. No, never. God is not a tool. God is the actor, the doer, the beer. I am merely the instrument. Therefore, do not reach out mentally to fix, to guide, to persuade. Do not reach in to manipulate mood or manufacture light. Stand aside. As you sow, so shall ye reap. Sow consent, reap peace. Here then is our orientation. I am not in the physical. I and my Father are one. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. I wait without desire, without project, without second power. I do not call the wind. I open the window. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. And in that quiet, the Lord is present as presence, needing no proof, bearing its own witness within consciousness. Now we enter the waiting room, not a hospital corridor packed with chatter, not a trance, not sleep. Waiting is not passivity. It is a poised attention without an object, the watchman upon the walls who does not lean, who does not pace, who simply watches. Blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching. We are that watchfulness, not watching for anything, watching from the awareness that I and my Father are one. Speak once and then release. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Let it fall like a seed into the soil of silence, and do not dig for it. No repeating to make it work, no pressure to persuade the infinite, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Now, quiet. You are not using a power, you are consenting to it. Notice the subtle trying. The mind will reach to hear a word, to see a light, to feel a warmth. No, no. Decline every inner lean. If an image begins to form, let it pass as a cloud passes. If you hear the mind say, now I am almost there. No, no. We are not going anywhere. We are already absent from the body, present with the Lord. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Rest as that unlocalized I without furnishing it. Use this gentle break. If you feel movement, begin. Am I doing anything? No. Am I expecting a sign? No. Am I reaching for a result? No. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. The will loosens. The hands of intention rest in the lap of awareness. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. Now let us share the quiet. We do not manufacture a minute. We allow it. No bargaining, no counting. Be still and know. If a thought knocks, let the door remain closed without effort. If a sensation rises, acknowledge it and let it go unattended. If memory tells a story, it finds no audience. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth, and we do not strain to hear. We stand at the door and knock without pounding. We listen without leaning. We are together in this simple room of awareness, and there is nothing to fix in it. The breath finds itself. The body is unfurnished in thought. The mind is not a stage for pictures. Here there is only poised expectancy, alive, alert, quiet. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, already spoken, already surrendered to silence. I do not cast for birds. I open the window. Now, as the minutes soften, we have exchanged effort for expectancy. We have not called the wind, we have stilled the air, and into such still air, when it wills, the breath of God moves. We do not summon it. We make room. We wait. And grace, in its hour, announces itself. Now, as we abide in this still air, we remove interference, not by wrestling, not by technique, but by a gentle no to what does not belong. An itch at the ankle appears. Name it. Itch, not a bit. If it requires a single quiet adjustment, make it once and be finished. Then forget it. A plan unrolls tomorrow's call, the email to be sent plan. Not a bit. Let it pass without finishing a sentence. A memory invites you to rehearse a scene memory. Not a bit. We do not argue with it. We do not gild it. We do not swat it. We simply decline to furnish it and return to the unlocalized I, absent from the body, present with the Lord. If a thought whispers, you should be deeper by now, no. If it flatters, you are attaining, no. If it scolds, you have lost it, no. Not a bit. Each time, the same answer, quiet and unarmed. Not a bit. And back to watchfulness without an object. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Standing still is not paralysis. It is non-interference. It is the refusal to add your mental hands to the ark. Here is a sharper warning, not to frighten, but to protect. Do not reach out mentally to treat anyone. Do not project your presence to a room, a hospital, a country. I hope you will never try to do it. That is occult manipulation, and it violates the first law. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. There can be no selfish purpose in a cosmic law. As you sow, so shall ye reap. If you sow interference, you reap entanglement. For years I have studiously avoided mental and physical contacts. I never give human advice. Why? Because God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. It is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. Consent to that, and let the law act on its own axis. Think of the traffic law. You do not push cars through the intersection to make the city flow. You do not sprint into the lanes and heave the buses along. You observe the signal. You yield when it is time to yield. You proceed when it is given to you to proceed. Obedience, not pushing, creates the harmony. It is the same with spirit. Obey the one God and the two commandments. Love God alone and love thy neighbor as thyself, and the flow proceeds without your meddling. Violate them, and you have stepped into the intersection to direct traffic with your bare hands. You become the hazard. Now we share again a quiet minute without agenda. Be still and know. No leaning into silence. No listening for messages. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. And the servant does not crane the neck. Let thoughts come and go. Not a bit. Let sensations rise and pass. Not a bit. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. By such non-interference you grow transparent, like clean glass before the morning. Nothing in you to catch, to color, to divert. Then, of itself, what is to act, acts. What is to speak, speaks. The battle is not yours, but God's. We will wait, and when grace chooses, it will announce itself. And then, without our leaning, it happens of itself. I wait in a state of receptivity until finally the click comes. Not a thunderclap, not a spectacle, a soft inner release, as if a knot unties where no fingers are, a warmth that is not heat, a quiet joy that is not excitement, a wordless yes that does not speak and yet is unmistakable. The strain goes out of the air. The will falls back into its right place like a child asleep in the rear seat, and the presence takes the wheel without motion. The peace of God, which passeth all understanding, does not explain. It simply is. What is it? It is not emotion, though feeling may accompany it. It is not a picture or a sentence in the head, though thoughts may follow like boats in the wake. It is that subtle pivot by which awareness knows I and my Father are one, not as doctrine but as fact. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. There is no longer a me trying to approach a distant God. There is only being, silently being itself as this consciousness. The kingdom of God cometh not with observation. It is the still small voice, but often without a voice at all, only a release, a rightness, the effortless alignment of a compass turning to north. Be careful here. Never chase or try to reproduce sensation. The moment you reach for the warmth, it cools. The moment you try to box the yes, it becomes a no. Two powers again. The one who grasps and the thing to be grasped. No, no. The click is grace, not method. You did not cause it, and you will not cause it again. The manna is given fresh. Yesterday's will not keep. Do not memorialize the felt tone. Do not script the next sitting to recapture it. Take no thought for the morrow. Consent today, and let grace choose its own hour. How do I know I am in it? There is no I to check, and yet you know, because the burden has slipped from your shoulders without your setting it down. The room is the same and not the same. The edges of the body are unimportant. The mind is not dull. It is clear, but unarmed. A tenderness spreads that has no object. Even the neighbor you had judged a moment ago stands inside an invisible mercy. Not sentiment, law. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. In that oneness, hostility has nothing to fasten to. Perfect love casteth out fear. Now the only prayer left is not request but consent. Live thou thy life in me, fulfill thyself as me, not I, but Christ liveth in me. I can of mine own self do nothing. And in that humility, the activity begins not as busyness, but as quiet, knowing that unknots, as direction that requires no map, as sufficiency that asks no guarantee. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. When the click comes, do nothing with it. Do not run to use it. Do not try to speak it into another. Rest, be still, and know. Remain until it finishes with you. Then rise gently and carry nothing but obedience. If it lifts and the ordinary returns, give thanks without regret. The river has passed through. It will pass again, not by summons, but by its own law. Our part remains the same as ever. Refuse second powers, keep the temple unobtrusive, love God alone, love thy neighbor as thyself, and wait. And in its hour, grace will again announce itself where there is no one left to hinder, and the click will be recognized as the Father's work within the Son. We do not chase signs, and yet sometimes signs follow, as dew follows the cool of the night. Speak the word only, said the centurion, and a healing followed, not the touch, but the trust. I do not offer these as proofs to be paraded. I offer them as quiet witness that consciousness is not inside a body, and that when the click comes, grace may announce itself far beyond the circle of our chairs. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. A letter came from a woman by the sea, Lisbon, as I recall, thanking me for appearing at her bedside at 2 a.m. She wrote of a sudden loosening in her chest, fear draining away as if a window had opened. At that same hour I was in Seattle, not at a bedside, not projecting, only in the quiet when the burden slipped and the click came. A tenderness spread without object. I did not send it. I did not aim it. Later the letter named the hour, and I could only bow. He sent his word and healed them, not a word through lips, but the word that is presence. Remember, I did not project myself, and I hope you will never try to do it. Another day a man asked what to do with his business, combine, divide, sell. I never give human advice. We sat in silence. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in consciousness, not in opinion, there am I in the midst of them. The click came like a quiet ripeness. I spoke no counsel. The next morning he called to say the confusion had drained and a simple next step stood of itself, and in taking it, pressure vanished all around. Guidance appeared as ease, not as argument. I did nothing but consent. A mother wrote from Montana that her child's fever broke at the hour she had set aside to be still with us from afar. I knew nothing of hours or fevers, only that in the sitting that evening, without petition, a joy rose that had no cause. Speak the word only. In truth, not even a word, only the word that is God being God. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Distance cannot divide what oneness has joined. Take this fence to heart. Do not try to use this. Do not reach out. Do not project. Do not manipulate. You violate 2 times 2 is 4, and the bridge falls. So if you bend the cosmic law for private ends, the collapse is upon the user. As you sow, so shall ye reap. Don't ever tamper with a cosmic law because it is a double-edged sword. Stand aside. Let the law act on its own axis. So we bear witness without claim, without sensation, without ownership. Outcomes may arise, relief, guidance, even healing, but we neither manufacture nor merchandise them. We attribute all to God acting through And if there is thanks to be given, let it rise to the one, not I, but Christ liveth in me. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Now, because such evidences may tempt the mind to grasp, to claim, to use, we must place the safeguard where it belongs. Cosmic law. One God, no rivals. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And with it inseparably thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. These are not pious ornaments. They are the structural beams of the universe. You do not put a roof on air. You set it on beams. You do not set spiritual experience on opinion. You set it on law. When the click comes, it does not confer privilege. It confers responsibility to obey the one and to love without exception. Understand this. A cosmic law is impersonal. It is not yours. It is not mine. It is not in our pocket to be spent. You cannot use it. You can only consent to it. And because it is impersonal, it is a double-edged sword. Don't ever tamper with a cosmic law because it is a double-edged sword. Be not deceived. God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. As you sow, so shall ye reap. If you try to bend principle for private ends, you have already sown separation, and the harvest returns first upon the sower confusion within, discord without. You violate 2 times 2 is 4, and you have brought the wrath of the principle of mathematics upon you. Build a bridge on 5, and it collapses, and it falls where you stand. So, with spirit, think of the traffic law. Harmony on the roadway is not produced by heroics, by running into the lanes to shove cars forward. It is produced by obedience. Green means go, red means stop, yield means yield. And everyone arrives without incident. Disobey, and sirens, wreckage, loss, or think of foundations. An engineer does not persuade granite to be tender. He conforms the plan to the load it can bear. When we conform to one power and the law of love, the city of our living holds. Here is the practical ethic that drains the swamp of conflict. When I want nothing you have, and you want nothing I have, there is no ground for war. Desirelessness is not indifference. It is love, purified of barter. Whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. If I want nothing of yours, I can meet you as myself. Love thy neighbor as thyself is not sentiment. It is the geometry of oneness enacted. No angles, no taking edges, only the straight line of mutual sufficiency in God. Therefore, keep the boundary clear. I never give human advice. If you ask me, should I go or stay, sell or buy, I do not answer with opinions. I enter the closet and close the door. It is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. Seek the Father within you. Wait until the click comes. Then act as obedience, not as scheme. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. Alignment with this impersonal law of oneness protects and directs any power contacted in the click. Under law, the warmth that rises becomes mercy, not manipulation. The knowing that appears becomes guidance, not control. Under law, power is love revealing itself, never a lever in the hand. Keep the commandments and you are kept. Break them and you break yourself upon them. Hold to one God, love your neighbor as yourself, and whisper without bargain, thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Then move only as grace moves, and you will find the road already cleared before your feet. Now we come to the common hours, where thresholds are everywhere, doorways, keyboards, steering wheels, phone rings, and each may become a little altar if we will not hurry past it. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Acknowledge is a small word. It may take only a breath. At the door to your office, pause a heartbeat, whisper, Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, and then release it. Do not clutch the word. Do not wait for a sign. Step through as one who consents, not as one who conquers. At the cursor before an email, pause. Absent from the body, present with the Lord. Be still and know. Then write without strain. Entering a meeting, the hand is on the latch, one quiet inward bow. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. Walk in unarmed. Make of your day a litany, not of needs, but of identity. In my oneness with God, I find my completeness. There is nothing to get. In my oneness with God, I find my security. There is nothing to fear. In my oneness with God, I find my peace. There is nothing to defend. In my oneness with God, I find my joy. There is nothing to chase. In my oneness with God, I find my fulfillment. There is nothing missing in me or in this hour. Let these be not slogans but doors. Touch them lightly and move on. Pray without ceasing does not mean speak without ceasing. It means consent without ceasing. Renounce other gods as they present their counsel through the day. Fear says, hurry. Lack says, take. Competition says, win, even if another loses. No, no. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Refuse their advice, not with argument, but with turning. Turn to the inner. It is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father, which speaketh in you. When you must answer, answer from the quiet click, if it comes. If it does not, answer with kindness and delay the decision. Never use a law to get your way. Consent to the way. Keep the forgiveness rhythm, or the channel clogs. I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. If the neighbor jostles you in the corridor, forgive before the second step. If you jostle yourself, sharp word, missed detail, grant yourself the same measure, 70 times 7. You have as much right to forgive yourself 70 times 7 as to forgive your neighbor. Otherwise, you build a wall inside and call it prudence. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgiveness restores transparency. Transparency restores receptivity. Let thresholds teach you. Before you lift the receiver, pause. Before you turn the key, pause. Before you sign your name, pause. Not long, not strained, a breath where you remember, I and my Father are one. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Then let the act proceed of itself. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Let the order appear as ease, as rightness, as the absence of friction. If heat rises, do nothing with it. If no feeling comes, do nothing about it. Keep the commandments, keep the pauses, keep the refrain. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things spoken once, yielded, forgotten into obedience. So the ordinary thresholds become channels for grace to appear, and the day, without display, becomes a sanctuary walked in quietly with God. Let us make this simple and keep it simple, for the Spirit moves in simplicity. A rule of life is not a chain. It is a rhythm that keeps the instrument tuned. 2 or 3 times each day give 15 minutes to waiting. Morning before the world presents its counsel. Midday when the world is loudest. Evening when the world has said its last word. Sit as you have learned, comfortable, unarmed, eyes closed, absent from the body, present with the Lord. Say once, if you must, thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, and be still. Do not try to get, do not try to feel. Consent. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, not by might, not by methods, not by pressure, but by my Spirit. Once each week, give a longer period, to quiet an hour if you can, a half if you cannot. no program in it, no list to complete, no spiritual calisthenics, only the same consent held longer to let the inner weather clear and the law announce itself if it will. Enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. The secret is the silence, and the silence is desireless. Keep the 2 commandments in that hour. One God, no rivals, love thy neighbor as thyself, and you will be kept. There will be dry days. Expect them, and fear them not. Add nothing, do nothing. Do not extend the time to force a sign. Do not shorten the time in impatience. Sit your 15 minutes as a steward sits his watch. Keep the law. Wait. Rise. Obey whatever simple rightness stands before you. Grace keeps its own time. The manna falls when it falls. Hoarding yesterday's does not feed today. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Confidence means this: the principle is intact even when the sense of it is thin. As you sow, so shall ye reap. Sow fidelity to one power, reap peace in due season. As to our life together, let our posture be blessing without interference. We hold one another inside the law of oneness. We do not meddle. We do not project. We do not try to give anyone our light. I hope you will never try to do it. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. Let the Father within do all the blessing. It is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. Our community strength is obedience, not magnetism, consent, not personality. Now we will close. As we have lived this hour without display, we will share 1 minute of collective silence. No methods, no leaning. Be still and know. Now, once and only once, the password, thy grace, is my sufficiency in all things. Benediction. I am that I am. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. I and my Father are one. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, and I shall love my neighbor as myself. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. And so it is. And I thank you.